Hello, welcome back to the Henstitute. This is another lab that we're going to tackle with the Henstitute lab. And this one involves two of our carts and some photo gates. And the idea is we're going to send those carts through the photo gates and try to look at conservation of momentum. See if we actually get it to conserve. And then over here on the computer, what we've got is we're actually going to get the velocity. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at our masses and find the mass of each of our carts. So let's start off. Let's take one cart. I'm going to put it on here. The mass of the first cart is 528.2 grams. I'll put that back on the track here. And then I'll take our other cart and I'm going to put it on here. And this mass is 525.2 grams. So they're almost the exact same mass. So when I think about that, what I'm going to be doing in this particular lab is I'm going to have two different carts. They're going to travel through these different photo gates. Every time they travel through a photo gate, you can see that little light shine up because this little piece that's on top is actually going to trigger that photo gate. And so I've got one cart here that's going to be moving and another cart it's going to also be moving. So the two carts are going to be moving away from each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start them so that they are right here in the middle. Let's get this set up. So here's what I've got is the two carts are sitting here right here in the middle between the two photo gates. And we're going to launch them so they push apart from one another. And if we believe in the conservation of momentum, we think that they should take off with about the same speed. So that is the basic idea. I'm going to see if I can set this camera up so you can see everything that's going on with our two carts. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to be starting the computer, collecting data. And then on 3, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, launch. And those two carts went flying away from each other. And if I come over here to the computer, what we see is we can see down here in the bottom corner that the velocity of the two carts, the one on the left is actually the one on the right is cart number 1, that's 0.571 meters per second. And the cart on the left is cart number 2, that is 0.532 meters per second. So we noticed that their masses were almost the same and our velocities are almost the same. They're a little bit different, but we do know that actually the cart that was slightly less mass has slightly more velocity. If we calculate that out, we could kind of see how close we get. So that was the first step. That shows us that conservation, but we're going to also modify this a little bit. So here, I'm going to set this up again so you can see our setup here. So you can see those two photo gates. I'm going to, this time, bring the two carts together like we had before, but this time on cart number 1, which is the cart over here, this is cart number 1, I'm going to actually put a mass on it. So this mass is a 500 gram mass. So this has almost exactly the same mass as a cart itself. And so if I get ready to launch this one, we will see if we get exactly what we would expect on 3, 2, 1, launch. So just physically kind of watching that, I could tell that it looked like cart number 1 went slower as it was moving away because it had almost twice as much mass. What we're going to do is come over here to the computer. Here's cart number 2 moving to the left. It's moving at 0.568 meters per second, almost exactly the same speed velocity we had before. but the cart on the right is now moving 0.272 meters per second. So by adding that 500 gram mass to it, by almost doubling the mass, we've cut that velocity almost in half. So we'll be able to kind of see what's going on. So this is a neat little demonstration of the conservation of momentum. Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Henstitute Lab.